Hey, let's go. Guys, we're back with the Yu-Gi-Oh! Show post show. I didn't even give these guys a chance to get ready. I've just thrown us straight back in. Look, another awesome post show with the awesome Eva and the awesome Dan. Yeah, let's run it, guys.
Yeah, so we ended up doing this with Neshi. Eva, we just ended up chatting, and the conversation was just so good, we started to keep it rolling. So yeah, you were just talking about like time management and stuff like that. Like, said you were doing a degree. How the fuck do you find the time in the day to do all this stuff?
So for work I have to take it's like an hour and 15 minutes of public transportation there and back. Like 2.5 hours combined. So if you wonder why I'm on Twitter so much, there you go. But yeah, so it's just kind of like it's finding time to, send out emails, message people, make posts and stuff. Just kind of in between times, and I try to carve out times where it's like Friday nights are my are like where I get a lot of my schoolwork done. And like Tuesdays or Saturdays I reserve for Yu-Gi-Oh! Like I go to locals and then I do duck testing with my group of friends for pretty much the entire day and night. And then Sunday is more schoolwork and prepping for the you have the university work and then the actual in-class teaching work the next day. So yeah, it's not easy. And I still struggle with the time management aspect of it. Yeah, like I can only stream really once a week, and sometimes I can't even, I've been pretty consistent with streaming once a week, but this was a week where I just didn't have time to do a stream. And so it's hard to find the time at certain times. Like I wish I could go to more events. I wish I could go to more YCSs, but yeah, it's not easy.
Yeah, because before Fabs hit the record button, we were talking about YCS London, and you mentioned you've been to quite a few events, right? You mentioned you took Labyrinth to 2 YCSs.
Yes, I took Labyrinth to YCS Niagara and YCS Minneapolis.
So Fabs, you've been to YCSs because I've not been to a YCS before. I've only done nationals, like regionals.
London, Belgium, and I'm going to Lyon.
So for people who haven't been to a YCS before, because London, there's one is it San Francisco that's the same weekend?
Yep.
Somewhere around that. Yeah. These are going to be the 250s YCSs. So what would you guys say is the main difference between doing a YCS and a nationals or a regional? So because for listeners who might not be on there, from your experience in it, because I can't chat about something I've not done.
Do you want to tee this up first, Eva, or do you want me to go?
Go for it.
So funnily enough, and I'm gonna use the example of when I went to Belgium. The biggest thing for me, I would say for me, the biggest thing is not necessarily the difference between a YCS and other events. For me, it's the difference between traveling to go to an event and doing an event in your country. And I'll tell you, when I went to Belgium, the biggest thing was just the experience of, my gosh, my door just rang. So I'm going to come back and hit this point because I need to let my wife inside the house. But sorry, Eva, if you do your point, I'll be back in a second, guys.
Yeah. The vibe is very chill on the post shows. I don't know if you gathered.
Yeah, that's totally cool with me. Yeah, so I think there's more hype and excitement with OYCS just because there's so many people there. And it's also for a regional, you're still as the event gets bigger, you kind of have to play more to the meta. So if you're playing at a regional, I think the most recent was it the most recent regional I went to? No, I think 2 regionals ago or something like that I was at. Plunder Patrol won it. And it was just wow. Okay, pre-Earthship was just yeah, sure, whatever.
Damn.
But then at a YCS at YCS Minneapolis, my first round opponent was losing the die roll against Kobe Short. So it's just wow. So it happens. What am I gonna do?
That kind of reminds me of a tweet I saw. Zara put out 5th rate duelist. She was she sat down from her first opponent, and it was fucking Patrick Hoban. She was just oh god.
Yeah. When I was at Niagara, I was at a table, and I was my first round opponent was playing Infernoid, and I was great. And I look behind me and I see MBT just like visibly like I don't know, visibly out of it. And I look across from him and it's Raphael Nevin.
Oh man.
Gosh.
And I just look at Nevin, I'm like, and he's like,
That's what I think sometimes. Like I think it was when we had I think it was YCS Belgium. I can't remember what player was there, but I was just thinking, why are you here, bro? Go do the YCS in your country. At least give us a chance. Like, don't come and take the top spot. But
Yeah.
what I was saying before is that for me, the difference between a country versus doing an event in your country versus doing it in another, and it's the experience of being in that country and exploring the country and then having the YCS at the same time. And I think it's really cool. When we went to Belgium, it was the touristy stuff that we enjoyed. We also the event itself. It wasn't like it was bad, but the event itself was so. It was so small compared to like we had a really great night. We were in a hotel. We met some really cool people from Belgium who like came and were playing games with us. We had a couple of drinking sessions. They were really fun. Played some games. We did some touristy stuff and went all around Belgium and the city centre and explored. And that was really cool. And I think that's what I would even say. I'd like enjoy the country itself because Yu-Gi-Oh is fun, but I mean there's the world as well. You know, there's real life.
Yeah.
And so for me, that's just the biggest thing. I'd say like the event is fun, but go a day early, enjoy the country, enjoy the city, find out what it's like to actually be there. So yeah, that's what I'd say.
Yeah.
You
Is
know-
it like a similar thing in the States? Because like I've not been to America. You know, I've not been to a YCS outside the country. So it would appear I've led quite a sheltered life. So like, is it different? Is it the same sort of thing when traveling to like different states and stuff, like for events?
Yeah, I mean, there is, each state has a little bit of a different vibe to it and a little bit of different history. I imagine it's a little bit different because, like, going, across, across the channel and going to France is very different from like me crossing the border and going to Indiana. Like, it's still kind of similar. But yeah, I mean, one of the great experiences was going to YCS Niagara, which the convention center where they had the event was a 10-minute walk from the falls. Not even 10 minutes. And so
Oh, okay.
full
Event sort of thing, like.
yeah. So after I got to X3, I was like, well, I was there with my friend and my girlfriend, and we were just like, want to go get some food and just go to the falls, and then when I was at Niagara Falls and looking at these falls and just seeing the majesty of it, the crushing power of them, I was like, I came here for Yu-Gi-Oh! Like it's like I had never been there in my life, in my 27 years of existence, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Brought me to this incredible place, that I don't know when I would have gone to it otherwise.
Yeah, definitely.
So
That's hard. Like, I can't imagine going to a Yu-Gi-Oh event and then just being overtaken by the beauty of Niagara Falls. Like, that's so wild. Like, it's sick, but I don't know. Like, because I've only been to events that have been like in the UK. The Nationals was like about 2 hours away from us. Like, I did the Nationals the year before was about an hour away. I think the furthest we've gone was probably that event in Northwich, which was some town I never would have gone to, but was very nice. Yeah, it just seems so fucking dope.
Yeah.
Like to just go and see the world, to go and play cards, and then you just end up
Right.
having like a mad time.
right,
That's
yeah.
That's dope.
And
Man.
and just all the things around it. Like when I was in Niagara, as previously mentioned on the show, Triff didn't get into the main event, and so I saw him walking around, and he goes, "Do I stick around? Do I stick around for a while, or do I just fuck off and go to Marineland, which was like this aquarium that was nearby the venue?" And I was like, "I don't know, Marineland," and he's like, "Okay." And then I see him 2 hours later on Twitter posting a picture with a dolphin. It was like,
Yeah, that's awesome. Man.
it's like, smoke
Shout
him
out
if you
to
got
Chris, man,
him.
living his best life.
Smoke him if you got him. If you're in this place,
Why not
it's
check it
all
out,
just
right?
cards. Yeah,
I
absolutely.
I would say as well, one of the big things for me is that so when I went to YCS in Italy, YCS Milan, I went by myself. So it was the first time I'd gone to Italy. It was the first time, in case no one knows, I don't like flying. I hate flying. I feel like, I'm scared of heights. So I don't like flying. So going there in itself was already a battle. But then it was like, as I was there, it was a country I'd never been to before. I don't speak Italian or anything, and that experience as well was also really cool. And I feel like it's something that people should try and experience. Like just go to a country by yourself and do stuff and like. So it's like, and I went there 2 days early when I went to Italy. So I was just around, like walking around, exploring, like walking around Italy just by myself and exploring it, which was really, really cool. And so I feel like going with your friends is cool, but also go and experience something yourself. Go and have that fun. Like, and I didn't get it before when people are like, "Oh, I'm going backpacking to this country." I was like, "Why would you do that by yourself? It's so weird." And then it's like, obviously, I did it, and it's like, "No, I get it. This is cool. This is awesome. It's a new experience." So that's another thing I'd say as well. Like, just yeah, man, experience life. Anyway, there's a lot of life. People should experience it and enjoy it.
Yeah, 100%, man. Definitely.
Definitely.
Like, so Ava, like you've kind of touched on this already, like, but I'll put this question to you both. What's like your favorite event, a memory of an event? Like, not necessarily about the Yu-Gi-Oh that was played, or like, but something that sticks in your mind about it. It could be like an event that you did really well at, or it could just be like you went to the event and, like you said, you went and saw Niagara Falls and it was fucking sick. Like, are there anything? Is there anything that like springs to mind for you guys? Like that we haven't already discussed, obviously.
Yeah, for me,
That's
it
a great
was getting
question.
smashed at Belgium. For me, yeah. we
Just like getting smashed in
we
Belgium.
we got lit. Yeah, we got. You know, I don't know, guys. Have you seen the whole Kylie Jenner meme? I'm gonna get wasted. That was literally us. That was like,
Okay.
us. Yeah, we got very, very drunk.
You know, I there's so many more that I'm like just looking forward to making. But one of my favorite ones was I went to YCS Minneapolis with a few of my best friends, and we got a hotel, and it was we got to explore Minneapolis a bit, which was really cool. So the night before the YCS, my friend and I in the hotel, they had like this DJ set in this hotel, like they had this kind of like club area, and there was a DJ, and we're like, kind of like this vibe. Do you want to just play test here? So there's this.
I tested in the club, you know.
There's this DJ like dropping beats and stuff like that, and we're just sitting there playing we're just sitting there playing like Labyrinth versus Branded Bestial, and and like
Baby, what fucking levels you are, man. Play testing in the club. That is so hard.
And like this girl comes over, just kind of she's kind of drinking. She's like, "Are you playing Magic?" And we're like, "No, we're playing Yu-Gi-Oh. It's way less cool." And she was like, "Oh, okay, cool," and it just left. We're like, they're so.
Gosh, I gotta imagine playing Yu-Gi-Oh in the club. My gosh, that's like
That's hard. That's the title of the post show. That is, Fabs.
I love playing Yu-Gi-Oh so much that I will play that shit anywhere. You put me in a club, you put me in a bar, you put me at the bottom of the sea, and you will find me playing Yu-Gi-Oh. Like
that's hard as fuck. That's so sick. We need to up our levels when we go to London, Fabs.
We legit do, man. Need to turn up to some of these clubs, turn up to Bamboo and all these things and start.
Yeah.
It's like that. Yeah,
normal someone in Moye in Nobu.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, but, it's exciting. I definitely I do like premiere events. I think as well, like unless you're like a pro player, like not to be this is not to be discouraging to anyone watching, but you're probably not gonna top anyway. So like go have fun. Like unless you're like you're confident that every event you're gonna go to you're gonna top. Like one of the mistakes I think I used to make is that I would go to I'm a very competitive person. I like being the best. I like winning, and so it's like I would go to an event, I wouldn't do one, I'd be pissed off, and then it got to a certain point. That's again, it was at Belgium. Like, I was in the middle of there. I called my wife and I was upset. She was like, "You literally spent all this money to be there and you're upset." She was like, "Just be happy. Just play better. Be happy. And if you lose, just calm." And, and it's like obviously you get the advice first and you're a bit offended. How could she say that and all these things? But I was like, no, she's right. She's right.
Yeah.
And so like, that's what it was just like. Yeah, we're just gonna have a good time. So like, yeah.
That's sick. That's.
Wife's just just like shut the fuck up, get good, now go enjoy Belgium.
Yeah,
that's sick. Like I think that kind of reminds me of something similar that happened at our nationals. Because I think you should go to every event with the intent to do the best you can. Definitely. But like if you know you're not going to top, if you know you just don't have the time to put that kind of effort in and stuff, then obviously just like soak it up, take the L's, and enjoy the time. But I remember it was the nationals last year. I was on Branded Despia, which, as we all know, is the greatest deck of all time, and I went 0-2. Like in my first 2 rounds, I was like, "Oh man, like I'm gonna do so crap." And then I was talking to our friend Tom, and he was like, "Oh, I won," and like his round, and I was like, "Oh, what happened?" And he was like, "Oh, the guy had already lost in his own head." And something he said that, and it clicked with me in it. I was like, "I'm going to be going into this O2 bracket full of people who've already lost in their own heads," and I only lost one more game that day, like just because I went in there with the mentality that like I just went in there with the mentality that I'm going to win, and like if I don't win, then it's not that deep.
Yeah.
Like so, half the game's in your head, man.
Yeah.
I think anyway.
100%.
But don't again, you know, just enjoy it while you're there, man. Because we went to a restaurant where everyone shouted at us. That was part of the service, and it was fucking bussing.
Oh,
Very, very good burger. Have you heard of it? The Karen's like diner. I don't know if it's a thing in
I think
America
I've seen
or
like
not.
Facebook shorts of it. Yeah, and they're like
Yeah,
giving you
yeah.
attitude and stuff as they're like doing your food and all this kind of things, isn't it?
Yeah, so I'm not sure if it's reached the USA yet. I know it originated in Australia, but it's this restaurant.
They have restaurants like that in the US. They have one that's called like Dick's Last Resort. I know.
Okay.
That's like where the waiters are just gonna be rude to you and such, and like
Yeah,
that's part of the
part
charm.
of the service, like.
Isn't that
Yeah,
so
yeah.
wild that that's like a thing now? Like you're paying for
They,
people
they,
to be
they
rude
made
to
us work out the bill on our own.
you. Oh my gosh. This
But-
is a paid service. Oh my gosh.
The food
You
was
know?
banging though, but it was so funny because I remember our friend Adam was rolling a cigarette, and one of the waiters went up to me. He's like, "Oh, give me a smoke." Then Adam was like, "Adam's the kind of guy if like he'll banter with you in it." So he was like, "Well, ask me nicely then." And the waiter broke character. He's like, "I was like, okay, can I?" And like we were just wetting ourselves. And he came outside and had a smoke with us, and like he was just telling us about like how like he got into that line of work because like obviously they're all just paid to be dickheads in it, but like in reality they're super nice. A lot of them are like actors, like so I imagine it's like kind of a combination for that. But I was like, damn, like. I spent all day activating branded fusion, and this is probably the most interesting bit of my weekend.
Gosh, wow, what a shock.
Yeah, so just enjoy events, man. I'm very excited for London, man. I'm very excited for London.
London's gonna be awesome.
Also, though, quick one, Eva, just on the subject of London. Well, not London, but like events in general. Obviously, you're a content creator, right? Like, you're a bit of a figure in the community. Like, what advice would you have to people who are going to events and they may see you or they may see like another content creator, like, and they may not know how to act? Say if they want to go up to you and be like, "Oh, you know, I'm a big fan," whatever. Like, do you have any kind of like not advice or like just any do's and don'ts sort of thing more than anything?
I would just like a lot of the people that I met at events and stuff have been just fantastic, just so sweet and everything. Just I'm there to I'm there to compete. You're there to compete. If you know me, like please come and say hi. Like that's like I'd love to meet you. And like just tell me about your rounds. Tell me about how it's been going for you and like yeah. Like I'm there to play Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm there to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! Just keep it a
Just don't be a weirdo.
Yeah, just don't be a weirdo. Tell me how many times you resolve branded fusion. Don't tell me like
If I had a pound.
Gosh. Yeah. On a side note, I'm very sad that people are playing Ash Blossom again for my branded fusion. I'm not happy about that. Yeah,
You play Thrust though, right, Fabs?
Oh yeah, I mean, but the thing, gosh. So yeah, I was saying to them before, it's like I'm gonna have to drop like 200 quid on them when I go to Leon because like I just didn't bother ordering them. I didn't want to pre-order, and I'm not looking forward to that. But yeah, that card you just need it because
It's so good.
Yeah,
It's made me really think about deck building in general because Ava, you mentioned you started playing 2021, right? So like were you around during the Tactics buzz? Because Fabs, you'll probably remember this when Tactics came out, there was a big shift of like, oh man, like our hand trap's good anymore. Turns out they are. So I don't know, are you guys feeling hand traps or board breakers right now?
I am. It's a complicated thing because like Branded Bistio is going to be one of the best decks, and if you have Ash Blossom, like huge. But I think that Imperm is still very strong because Imperm,
Plays around those
Imperm
kind of
on
cards as well, right? It's kind
What's
of
that?
like Imperm, it plays around the talents and the thrust because obviously it's not a monster effect. I think Imperm's probably one of the best ones right now.
Yeah, I mean for me, I wouldn't be playing Valor right now. I wouldn't be playing, Ogre. I wouldn't be playing most of the lower impact hand traps, that are monster effects. I board breakers are pretty nice against, Kastira because they're setting up you know, unless they're playing the adventure build, they're not putting any negates on the board. And unless you're like the one crafty motherfucker who I was playing against who normal summoned Fog King to my hand of 2 lava golems.
What the fuck?
Look, he's just better. He was just
It's
built
better,
different.
innit? Yeah.
You know, they're very weak to lava golem, sphere mode, kaijus even. So
Yeah, me personally, I'm not. Everyone who knows me, I'm not really a fan of hand traps. In general,
Yeah.
I don't. I like whatever is the easiest way to play the game. It's a lot easier to just let you do whatever the heck you want and then press evenly afterwards than try and worry about like, am I ashing at the right place and all these things.
Yeah, I'm with you, Fabs. I'm with you.
Yeah, so me personally, I mean, and Branded Bestial is one of the things I love about that deck is it's kind of designed to break boards and stuff like that quite well. So like main deck super poly and all of this stuff. So me personally, yeah, I'm not playing hand traps. If I was playing a hand trap though, I would. This is like golden keys. Like this is like DJ Khaled keys I'm dropping right now, guys. At the beginning of every format, play Nib. It doesn't matter what deck is it. Just play Nib. Just play Nib. Yeah. So if I was playing hand traps, I'd play Nib. I'd play Imperm. That's probably about it. I don't think I'd play. I like Ash is good, but I don't think I'd play Ash because it's not good enough. Like for example, if you Ash Kashtira, good luck. You just lost a card in your extra deck. If you Ash Sprite, it doesn't matter. And it probably won't resolve anyway. So it's like it's only really good against branded. So Nib, that's about it.
Yeah, Nibiru specifically because you know that there's going to be one motherfucker at every locals on PK and another motherfucker at every locals on Heroes.
And I was like, at the beginning of every format, everyone, do you know what happens? Everyone's like, oh, I want to try this new combo and blah blah blah, and they forget the whole 5 summons thing, and then they just get nibbed. It happens. To me, it's happened almost every major event. That's like the start of a format. The same thing happens. The best hand trap is always nib. Before it was Nib and Mystic Mine, but now Mystic Mine's banned, so play Nib. Yeah.
Yeah, at start of every format, it's like people aren't playing around Nib, and people are trying to make Alistair a thing again. Because they're like, I don't know what to do. I guess I'll just play Invoke. Normal summon Alistair. I know how to do this.
Yeah, Alistair's just like he's like the new Dante, right? Like he'll never go away. Like, did you guys see Ruxin's ban list reaction? It was so fucking funny. He was just like. Obviously, like he's not someone who knows like too much about the meta, but he was just like, I can normal summon Alistair again now. Tier elements are banned, and I was like, you're the goat, man. You're so fucking funny.
That's I didn't see this most recent one, but I saw his previous ban list reaction, being like Ronin Soden, was that a tier card?
Yeah, and he was like, "Oh, something Toad got limited. That's gonna hurt tier element."
Yeah.
He's the goat, man.
I haven't checked it out. I definitely need to watch it.
It's so funny, man. Like, unironically, like it's hilarious, but like it's just without trying to be. But he's fully leaned into the bit, like which I respect. Because I think MBT reacted to it on a stream, and like obviously was just wetting himself. And like at the start of every ban list reaction, he's like, "Here's your free content, MBT." It's just so funny.
I'm typing it in now. I'm gonna after the show. I'm gonna definitely have to give this a watch.
It's so good.
But yeah, I'll be excited to see what happens moving forward with the format. I think as for me, I'm happy. I've like I said, I haven't been playing much Yu-Gi-Oh because I wasn't enjoying tier, but as soon as I saw that ban list, oh my gosh, I've made like 12 different deck lists. Like I want to try Mekango, I want to try my Akashi, I want to try like everything. Like I just want to play every deck now because so many decks got good support, which is really really nice.
You know what, Fabs? You just made me think of a question that I think I'll kind of want to introduce to like the guests going forward. So Eva, like I'll ask you first. Do you have like a Yu-Gi-Oh Holy Grail, or like a specific card that like you've always wanted that you really want to get, or was there a card that you wanted to get like that and you managed to get hold of it? It could be anything from like as big as a DDS Blue Eyes to something as small as just a card that meant a lot to you when you were a kid or something like that. Or is there anything in particular that kind of springs to mind?
Yeah, so Ultimate Rare Kai's the Shadow Monarch is my pick. So my very first Yu-Gi-Oh cards was the Dark Emperor structure deck. That introduced Caius and had a bunch of the DD cards in it. And that was like it's a very like I guess seminal moment in my childhood, I guess, that I think about a lot. Like my friend's mom got me the structure deck because I thought Caius looked like just absolutely baller. And so I really love that, and that's kind of like what started me with Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. So yeah, it was just something that I really loved, and I would love to have an ulti bias. And it's one of those that's like not it's expensive, but it's not too far out of reach that I'll never have it.
Yeah,
So
it's like an
someday.
obtainable goal sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's hard. That's hard. Fabs, what about you, bro? Like, I don't think this is something we've ever talked
So,
about.
so we're going for a specific card then.
Yeah. Specific card,
Um,
specific rarity sort of thing.
it's hard for me because I'm not really a rarity kind of person, so that's why
Mm.
it's quite hard. I really
When
can't
I
think
say
of
rarity, it doesn't mean I have to get a ghost rare of this or whatever.
but
It's
as
just
in terms of both card and rare, it's just hard for me because I'm not really that into specific. Like I have cards that, basically all the cards I want I have. So
Yeah.
and there's nothing special that I want. So I don't have anything as good like as Eva's suggestion, to be honest.
Or was there like anything that like when you got it, you were like, "Fuck yeah!" Like,
yeah, the ulti Alubas and Albazes. Yeah,
Ooh,
yeah. So I spent
pretty
like
nice.
a month hunting down a full playset of ulti Aluba now because Despy I think is such a cool thematic. Everything about it is epic, and so
Beautiful deck.
yeah. So
One of the just one of the most beautiful decks to just look at the art. I mean,
really is, yeah.
love it.
yeah, this is something we were talking about with Golden Nova, man. Like, just the whole branded lore is fucking so
Doing a
cool.
good job on that.
Why did Sky Striker get the manga and not them, man? So jarring.
Yeah. What about you though, Dan? What about you?
So it's a bit of a tricky one, like, because I'm going to try and get this off the wall now. I don't know if it's going to work. It's not going to work. It's stuck on. But like, my wife got me a framed present of my 3 favorite cards from when I was a kid. So like for having my study area, which is a Blue Eyes Toon Dragon, a Wing Karibo, and a Cyber Dragon. So like that's something that is dope, but it just means a lot to me, like sentimentally, because it's a present for my wife. And like when I was a kid, I could only get commons, right? So like it's almost like a reminder to stay humble. But in terms of like a Grail, like this is just gonna sound bare, like I don't know, it's gonna sound weird, but like since probably over the last 6 months, like even before we started talking to Neshi in it, like Crystal Beast is an archetype that's really kind of jumped forward to me, like ever since I got married, because like Jake from Sanctum Squad, like that's one of his favorite archetypes of all time. He had like a completely busting like max rarity version of the deck. Like I think there was a period over about two months when I didn't lose to like my shit getting Bridge of the Heart bounced, and like I picked up the deck after that, and I was like, this deck's so cool, and it reminds me of like those fun times that I had with Jake and like on the Sanctum Squad, and like obviously like my friendship with Neshi now. We're not like best mates or anything, but like he's a creator that I really respect, and you know that's obviously his deck in it. So I feel like I want to get like an Ulti Sapphire Pegasus at some point. Other than that, maybe just something cringe like a starter deck Kyber Blue Eyes or something. I'm pretty basic in it. Give me a pumpkin spice latte and I'm your pearl.
Yeah, I've heard so much about this pumpkin spice latte from so many people. I need to try it because in my head, I don't even know what a pumpkin tastes like. So it's like I'm never motivated to go and try it, but I feel like I must do this.
As a
You've
disclaimer, like I don't fucking like coffee. I actually hate pumpkin spice lattes. It's just, I can't stand
It's fine. It's fine. It's like it's known in the States like the pumpkin spice latte is like, the basic white girl drink, which is like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
like which it's like the drink is fine. Like
Yeah.
I'm cool with it. But yeah, like if you've never had like pumpkin stuff, like pumpkin flavored stuff never actually tastes necessarily like pumpkin. But like pumpkin pie rules. As y'all would say, it's bussin'. Is that a thing?
That's the terminology over here in the
Bussin', okay.
here in the British land.
In the British land.
Alright,
Okay.
so, guys, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wrap up here, but I'm gonna introduce a would you rather. So we did Am I the Arsehole on the show, but this is gonna be a would you rather, and I like this one.
Okay.
This one's quite basic though, right? But basically, would you rather wake up as your 15-year-old self with everything you know now, or keep living from now on, but you're $50 million richer?
Yeah,
What?
It's got to be B, man.
Oh my god. I mean,
Like, go on, Ava. I'll let you.
no. Go for it.
No, I was just gonna say because
I need to process this.
because like I feel like where I am now, like I feel like I'm somewhere where 15-year-old me would be pretty proud of it. So like, and I feel like if I was 15 and I knew that, I don't think I'd appreciate the work it took to get there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, that's an interesting perspective. Yeah.
Also, I can see the $50 million as a reward for life.
Yeah.
So it's hard to turn down 50 mil, my guy.
It's hard.
Do you know what I'm saying? But I do often think about what I'd say to myself if I've met myself when I was like 10 years, like 12 years younger. I'd probably just be like, just be yourself more. Just something cringe like that. Don't sell that fucking first edition Wing Reaper level 10, and don't lose it. Because it was somewhere in my mum's attic, and she went through the loft yesterday, and I was like, "Did you find it?" And she was like, "No," and I was gutted. But yeah, B is my answer. Fabs, I'm taking the money and running.
What about you?
I would have to say B as well. Like, yeah, because I just would not want to be 15 again. Like, I don't want that evil on me.
That's fair. I respect that.
But yeah, there was when I was in high school, I wrote like like everyone in our class was supposed to write like this note to ourselves, this time capsule, and we were supposed to like look at it in another few years. And so there was one day where I was like cleaning out a bunch of my stuff, and this is like a decade later. I had like found this note that I written to myself in high school, and I was like, oh, shit, what did I even say for this? And I opened it up, and it just says "keep it simple," and that was it. And I was like,
Gosh.
wow, that was I was probably I was probably just having a lark with it, but like that was actually kind of what I needed
That's
to
kind
hear
of
at the
deep,
time.
right?
It was quite profound.
Yeah, it was kind of what I needed to hear at the time, and so yeah, I'd still take the 50 million and run though. Yeah, I'm with you on this.
You've been dropping some gems over these
Yeah,
past
Mitch.
couple of hours, Eva.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Loving it.
We need to get like a little story time with you at some point. Fabs, what are you saying as the question master?
So, do you know what? This question, for me, it's actually so hard because I really like my life. I have a nice life. But there are certain things, not even for me, there's one specific thing that I won't talk about in public, but if I could change it, it would make someone else's life so much better. And in my head, it's almost like, am I willing to sacrifice my own life for that? Like, I might be.
I didn't even think about stuff like that.
There's just one or two things that like, oh gosh, yeah. So that's why it's so hard for me. So it's like, from a purely selfish standpoint, my life is awesome. Yeah, and 50 mil right now would solve pretty much all of any relevant problem I have right now. 50 million would probably solve. But for some people, I feel like, being 15 years old and being able to just be like, just don't talk to that guy. it would make life better. Yeah.
I guess because like, there's so many different things that you'd have to factor in, right? And again, not to get deep, but like,
yeah,
would you do this?
There's always the kind of butterfly effect and stuff like that. But I'm keeping
Yeah.
it simple, man. I'm just thinking that in terms of I'd be able to prevent something. So I think I'm on the 50 mil, but it's definitely very close for me. I would say very, very close. But
That's a nuanced take. I'll write that.
Yeah.
But guys,
Yeah, see, we're being selfish fucks, and we're just like, it's all about us. It's all about what we've gone through, and you're like, no, I want to think about others, and we're like, damn, are we terrible people?
that's just me. I'm just that perfect and humble that I always think about other people. But on that note, guys, that was the post show for TYS. So yeah, thank you all for watching. We'll talk to you all soon. Peace.